Hi, I'm Kimberly. Welcome to Simply Living in a Small Town. I hope you've had a wonderful week. Today is actually Saturday. I intended to do this video yesterday, Friday, but didn't quite get there. It was a long day. I'll go into that in just a second. So I want to thank everyone for watching. I truly do appreciate that so very much. So thank you to every single one of you. So another hectic week, but um, yesterday I took my daughter so that she could go to her dad's till today. So here in just a bit, I've got to go pick her up. And I got home and the day just kind of, I don't know, it kind of unraveled in a way, I guess. And that trip yesterday morning, it kind of like messed my normal kind of daily routine. And I'm not used to having my daughter here, on Friday morning because usually she's at school. So from there, I came home though and I crocheted. I was bound to get these tops done. As you can see, I'm wearing one of them. So that's what I wanted to show you was my FOs for the week. I did get this done. So here's what it looks like now. And it's very, these stretch out because of the mesh stitches. So I love how, I just think this is so cute. I love these tops like so much. So yeah, this one's done. And this is the Knockout Crop Top by Cinnamon Stitches, which I will link in the description box if you would like to make one for yourself. So this took me 2 skeins of the I Love This Yarn Sport Weight. And those are 174 yards a piece. So I made this one. I told myself I was just going to use it till I ran out. I forgot to bring over here what I had left, but it's a tiny little ball of like less than a yard, to be honest. It's really tiny. I just couldn't go another round though at the bottom. So and I love how this turned out. So for $3.72, because that's what I paid for the yarn, I generally buy my yarn, the yarn that I get from Hobby Lobby, I generally buy when it's the 30% off. And I know for a fact that I bought this yarn when it was the 30% off. So that made that $3.72 for my top, y'all. I mean, you can't beat that. Of course, again, that's just for the yarn. That's not for my time. But nonetheless, I think that's fantastic. So I actually have, this is the colorway Hot Rose. I have a purple color in there yet and a red. And I bought 2 skeins of each. So I can turn around and make, 2 more like this if I want to, which I may. We'll have to see. So I am thrilled with this. And then I will show you the other top that I made in just a second. Okay, so here's the other top I got finished that I was working on. This is a tutorial bag o' day crochet. And it's easy crochet top. So I have now made 3 of these. And I love this. Didn't this turn out cute? Of course, there again, you can stretch this out because that's how it's meant. I still feel some of it stretching there, or, pulling out when I stretch it. But anyway, I thought this turned out really pretty. So this was the yarn that I got from Hirschner's. That's the Willow Yarns Willow Yarns Wheels, okay? This is what I have left. Out of 377 yards, this is what I have left, so I have a decent little amount left. This is pretty thin yarn. As I showed before, you can just see it's pretty thin. It actually does not say on it like what weight it is per se. And it was actually comparable to the sport weight from the other top that I just showed you. but this is actually slightly thinner than that even. So anyway, it turned into a beautiful top. I love the colorway. That was kind of what drew me to it. It's actually similar to a Lion Brand mandala cake. If you've ever seen the Spirit colorway, the colors are very similar with this type of a like teal kind of a blue in it and that. I also have a poncho made out of that colorway with the Lion Brand mandala. So it's similar to that, but the, of course, thickness of it isn't. Now, this is not like the softest, but I mean, it's fine. It's not like real coarse or stiff, or, and it's very kind of like, it's very fuzzy. It kind of has a you might be able to see that. It kind of has a halo to it. So, but not bad at all. I didn't have any issue with it. Frogging it, you would have like, it would get stuck because of the furriness. And then if you just pulled a little harder on it, you know, it would come undone. So, I mean, it's not bad on that. But I like the way the top turned out. I think it's super cute. I was kind of like blah when I got the yarn, to be honest, because I kind of like, I think expected it to be nicer quality than it is. And I'm not saying it's terrible yarn, because it's not. I just, I think like I said, I think I expected something just a little bit nicer. So I had put it to the side. I actually have a whole nother cake of this as well. So I could make another one of these tops and then some with it. Because I have a whole nother cake plus that. So yeah, I wasn't sure what to do with it, and I have held it all this time. It's been like, I want to say at least a year, and wasn't sure what to do with it. And I think that I got those for like $3 and something a piece, because I remember when I got it, like it was, I'm almost sure it was $3 and something a piece. Here's what's odd. So I have like 2 different accounts on my Hirschners. And I went into both of them earlier, and you know, neither one of them shows the order where I got this. Strangely enough. I think that's really weird. I do not have any idea why. Maybe I wasn't signed in or something when I placed that order, and that could be too why. I'm not sure, but that's very possible, I suppose. Anyway, so I can't tell you exactly, but I'm pretty certain it was like $3 and something. Now, I did search on their website for the Willow yarn wheels. I don't believe that it's kind of confusing, because I could not get this on its own to come up, but they do have kits with this line. You know, they have like different crochet kits that you can buy. So I'm not sure, like, if they sell this anymore. Maybe not. In other words, maybe only in those kits and not separately, is what it appeared to me anyhow. And then I do have also 2 cakes of this same yarn, but in a different colorway. I'll have to get that out shortly, because that I'm really was excited to get, just because it's really pretty with like a burgundy, orange, purple, like bright colors in it. So yeah, and it will definitely work, because what I wanted to make out of it, this will like definitely work for, like, so it's what I was kind of wanting to make is also like has kind of like this sheer meshy type, you know, it's not the same top, it's something different. But a couple of things that I looked at were this kind of a style, though, you know, of the sheer mesh. Anyway, more of a lightweight wearable, if you will. So yeah, I'm really thrilled with having gotten both of these done. Now, saying that, I am trying to think, I am working on still, that's what I'm going to be taking with me here shortly, is when I leave here, you know, and go to get my daughter. I will not be driving. So I am going to be taking the shawl, and that's the chevron burst shawl. That's a pattern that's on Premier's website for free if you would like that. Speaking of patterns, though, don't forget, y'all, like Hirschner's has free patterns on there. Even if you never buy anything from Hirschner's, you can literally go on there and look, and there's always tons and tons of free patterns on there. I have downloaded a bunch of those. So, personally, and there are several things on there I would like to go back and look at actually doing. And then, but again, Premier's website, same, they have tons of free patterns. Lion Brand's website has some free patterns because I did search that this morning just to look and see. And they do have some free patterns, but not kind of really as much from what I saw anyway. I didn't go very far into that, but from what I could tell, there wasn't as many. But yeah, Hirschner's is definitely, they have tons of free patterns. Premier has tons of free patterns. I know Yarn Inspirations has patterns. I didn't look at that one today, but I do know they have free patterns as well. So, you know, you can utilize all those kind of avenues. I understand if you don't have money to pay for patterns and stuff like that. I totally get that. So I have literally, y'all, I've never paid for patterns, okay? Up until up until recently. Here's kind of my thing, okay? I see tons of things that I love. There is no way in my lifetime I will be able to crochet everything that I would love to make. I'm sure y'all feel the same way. It's just, there's a lot. There's so many amazing patterns literally out there. But my attitude has always been like, I mean, I understand a lot of people buy on Ravelry and whatnot, Etsy, and that's great. And I have nothing against them doing that whatsoever. I mean, that's your business. If you want to do that, and I understand that they're trying to support other fiber artists as well, that I totally get that. But for me, having been more on a, I guess, tighter budget that way, I'm a very frugal person in general. So let's just put it that way, actually. So I have never paid for patterns until recently. I purchased 2 patterns from Cinnamon Stitches. She has it's honeysuckle poncho pattern and ponchito pattern on her Etsy. She also has another one that's a beach cardi pattern. But for now, I just got the 2. And I apologize, but my eye feels really dry. That eye feels really dry all of a sudden. Sorry. That's actually literally a autoimmune thing. Sorry, but that was really irritating me. So, I bought those 2 patterns. I had trouble. I couldn't get them to download. So I actually messaged her, which I hated to do because I didn't really want to bother her. Because it's not even her, like, they're her patterns and that, and her Etsy, but obviously Etsy she doesn't control. So in other words, like, I thought, if I can't get these, it's not her fault, you know. I mean, like, it's an issue with Etsy. Well, so she did give me a tip in that she responded back and told me, well, if you're trying to use a phone or a tablet, you know, it generally will do that, like, type of a thing, and you would need to use a computer. And I was, oh, okay. Well, I don't generally use a computer anymore. I kind of gotten out of the habit of that since my house burned down and we lost all our computers. So, I do have a laptop, though, so, and it's, I need to get back to that anyway. So I haven't really used, well, for some time I didn't have one at all for a long time. So I kind of got more accustomed to using my phone for everything and or my tablet, including my taxes that I do every year. So I got the it kind of spurred something I needed to do anyway. So I got laptop out, and I got made sure email was set up and that, so I could go in and try it. And so I finally was able to download it, y'all. Like, finally. And I was so like tickled. I was, oh my gosh, I finally got it. So I'm excited about that. But they're just simplistically written patterns, and I think that's like great. So I'm thrilled about that, and I'm also excited to sit down and like start doing those patterns. And so I think that also too, it's it's expanding my ability and that type of thing, because I was never accustomed to reading patterns. And so far, this chevron burst shawl that I'm doing, that's the pattern off Premiere, at first I had a little bit of issue with row 2. I know I mentioned that. I finally got it to count out to, because it said at the end it was supposed to be 19 not 19 chains, 19 stitches, y'all. I finally figured that out. It was me just being stuck. I wasn't realizing I wasn't realizing something at the end of like that set, like that little, what it was telling me to do anyway. So I actually ended up I didn't tell you all that either. I actually frogged that shawl out twice. So I completely started it over the other day. So when I showed you at like row 18, that was like, I had started from scratch and started that completely over like that day or the night before. So anyway, I'm going to continue to work on that. I know I have a whole list of other stuff that I'm planning for this week, crochet wise. I can't tell you at the moment because I don't even actually remember. I have to keep everything on my calendar and my phone and set reminders for everything under the sun to remind me to do these things or whatever. But I keep notes in there too. So I know that I have a list of what I'm planning to work on this week. But the shawl for sure. The shawl was the very first thing I do know that's on that list. So I will be working on that. But I'm super excited. You know, I'm doing great with reading this pattern. But I'm trying to get back to that. I'm doing great with reading that pattern now that I figured out it was something dumb I was doing wrong, but you know. So then since I got past that, I'm like doing really good reading that. So I've already looked over the 2 patterns from Cinnamon Stitches, and I'm excited to sit down and start one of those. However, I have other things in front of me that, you know, I want to get finished, and I'm still trying to go back and do UFOs from last year. And that daggone blanket is one of them. I have this yarn laying right here, look. Bernat Softy Chunky laying right here in front of me, because so I do know that's something this week too I need to get out, because it's got like, I don't know, like 3 rows I think left or something like that. So yeah, that will like take no time at all. I just got to get it out, refresh myself on what I'm doing it. Well, the only other thing about that blanket, it's not just that. I have, yeah, only like a few rows or something to do. I need to figure out what I'm doing on the border. So that's my only other thing on that. So, but that would be, in other words, I want to get that out and get that done, since I actually finally got this now. So I will let you go and see you next time. And I hope that everyone has a literally beautiful weekend. Happy Easter to those of you that celebrate. And see you next time. Bye now. And God bless.